I was a very strong supporter of Waziri Atiku Abubakar when I went to Chicago State University. What happened? I saw the truth and I said the truth, even though the truth was against my own political interest. I deal with facts. I'm not an emotional person. So when the facts change, I change with them. Only a stupid person does not change when the facts change.
All right. Let's go into to what has become a national conversation, which is the electronic transmission of results, and the fears that, well, we are towing a line where some folks are staging the process for which an election can be easy to rig. And that's why the agitation that there must be electronic transmission of result. The position of the Senate yesterday is even being rejected by some elites in the society and many Nigerians who believe that that is not enough. The barest minimum that Nigerians can take is instantaneous, real-time electronic transmission of result. Why do you think it's difficult for that to be achieved?
Okay, I'm asking you a question, Seun. Can you name a country in the world that they have real-time electronic transmission of results? Name a country.
No, I'm the one.
So that's the thing now. The United States.
Yeah.
I mean, today, some of these people, and including a senator who should know better, said that, listen, we should ask Starlink to give us the ability to do a real-time electronic transfer. Do you know this country where Starlink originates from? The United States. Even in the United States, there is no real-time transmission of election results. In the United States, so you are asking Starlink to give us what their country of origin has not gotten. Look, you have to understand something. These people, they are probably confused because they see on television in America when the elections are done that the results are done almost in real time. No, that's not the results. That is the media. The media, they work on what they call exit polls. So those exit polls, in most cases, is going to agree with what the Federal Electoral Commission, that's the body that conducts elections in the United States, does, which will come about a week later. However, it is wrong to take what the media is telling you. Because, I mean, if you look at what happened in 2000, you saw that because of the media, real time, the media projecting that President George Bush had won, Al Gore conceded. And then they found out that the media was wrong. And what happened? Al Gore called George Bush to withdraw his concession. You cannot rely on those kinds of things. So if you want to have electronic transmission of results, I support that. I don't think anybody who is going to be against that is patriotic.
All right. So this is the argument here. Transmitting the result electronically does not displace the physical copy of the result. And even when you hack into it, it doesn't change the physical copy. And there are those who debate who say, look, transmitting the electronic result gives a level of transparency. It allows citizens to be able to monitor. It allows people to be able to follow what is going on and allows for transparency and accountability in the process. And that's what Nigerians are asking for. It's a means of watching and monitoring because of the experience of 2023. Because people believe that there are those who are capable of manipulating election results. And when they do that, destinies of millions of people are being manipulated.
Everybody agrees to what you just said. Electronic transmission, yes, even the Senate agrees, the APC agrees, the President agrees. People agree to electronic transmission. The issue is these people asking for unrealistic policies of real-time electronic transmission.
Why is it unrealistic?
Because, I mean...
Did you watch the South African election?
The South African election...
There is a big screen where everyone could see the result as it was coming in.
No, that's not what happened in South Africa.
What happened in South Africa?
I've been to South Africa.
Did you monitor the election?
I did monitor the election.
But did you see at the central, at the capital, where there is a large screen at the election center where you could see all the results that were coming in? Same thing in Kenya. Same thing in Ghana.
Can I respond to that? Same thing in Nigeria. Same thing in Nigeria in the 2023 election. What you saw in South Africa on that big screen was when the election results were being transmitted, but not being transmitted in real time. What happened in South Africa is exactly what happened in 2023 in Nigeria. Election results can be transmitted electronically in Nigeria. However, and just like it's not just in Nigeria, it's also in the United States, there are going to be places where you don't have coverage because Nigeria is a large country. In the United States, even that is the most technologically advanced country in the whole world. There are huge swathes of the United States where they don't have coverage. So what is the solution? The United States Federal Electoral Commission allows what they call mail-in ballots. So people, they don't even go to the polling booths, they mail their ballots. So that's, I mean, it's common sense. Let's not just get carried away with emotions. Even in Peter Obi's village, Agulu, there are areas where you don't have coverage. Peter Obi is the largest shareholder in a bank. I'm not going to mention that bank. Last year, that bank, it got reported to the Central Bank of Nigeria that their real-time money transfers, their access to real-time banking app, access to real-time SSD service of that bank, I mean, a lot of their customers, huge swathes of their customers could not access real-time services. Now, this is a bank having about between 5 to 10 million customers. If they cannot deliver real-time money transfer services, and this happens to all banks, how can you expect INEC to deliver real-time electronic transmission of results?
But INEC said they can.
No, INEC said that they can do electronic transmission, not real-time electronic transmission of results.
So for the sake of our viewers, and these conversations, whichever way anyone belongs in this country, is for the advancement, I believe, of our democracy. Either we get it right or get it wrong, it's detrimental to us or is advancing our cause. But the conversation here is, and if you seated here, if you are on a flight, for example, and they offer you an in-flight internet, sometimes you get to a particular region and it fails.
Yeah.
And you're trying to send, sometimes you may not be able to make calls, or you can send emails and messages. And once you send a message in flight and it's not delivering on WhatsApp, at a moment where there is no network, once you get to a network area, what happens is it gets delivered and the recipient gets it. And that's what a lot of Nigerians are saying. Do your own bit in doing the real time. Do it whenever you get into the network area, it's going to drop. And those and Nigerians are saying, put the law, let the law be more progressive, rather than we retrogressing the hand of the law.
But you see, that's the mistake that a lot of people are making, and this is what I talk about emotions. You are using WhatsApp. WhatsApp is a social media. You cannot compare a social media with a technologically advanced system of real-time transmission of election results. I'm going to give you a couple of examples. Those people that say that, okay, Starlink should be consulted and Starlink should give us, do you understand something there, that if you get Starlink to start doing that, first and foremost, you are having data breach because you are giving the data of your citizens to a foreign power. No reasonable country on earth will do that. The United States, where Starlink comes from, even their Federal Electoral Commission will not do that. Because what it means is that Starlink and Elon Musk own Starlink. And Elon Musk, he has his own... Look, have you seen Elon Musk's interview? He did say, this is the owner of Starlink, that he does not even believe in electronic transmission of results, not real time. They were talking about electronic transmission of results because he said that it can be hacked. And I'm going to quote him, I have been coding since I was 19 years old, and I know that e-voting can be hacked.
Okay, let's take this conversation in this way. And yesterday I was explaining to our viewers, there are 3 legs on the election day for the electoral process. The first is accreditation. Second is voting. And the third is result transmission. In all of these 3 layers, only one leg has electronic or digital aspect to it, and which is our accreditation process. Our voting is manual, and our result transmission is also manual. There are those who believe that, and rationally speaking, we use an electronic device for accreditation, and it's worked. There was a time in this country that the law says if the card reader machine, which was what we were using before the beavers, if it fails, you can use the incident form. And we saw how rigging was perpetrated because of incident form. That was scrapped after some Supreme Court judgment had established that the discretion given to officials of INEC could advance rigging process. So if the beavers, which is an important part of the electoral process, is working, which gives you instantaneous, digital, and electronic means of conducting the exercise, and is working everywhere in Nigeria. Without it, you cannot continue or you cannot do anything. Why can't it work for result transmission.
Because
and I'm talking to you as an election expert.
Okay, because with the beavers, you already have data that is in your data bank. So all you're doing is you're capturing the data and you're comparing it to what you have. You're not creating something new and sending it. Now, you've got to realize something, Seun. Look, if real-time transmission of election results was a good idea and was practicable, why isn't it being done in the United States? Why isn't it being done in the United Kingdom? So you've got to ask yourself these questions. Let's not be
We're not talking about e-voting.
Yes.
Which is different.
No, I didn't say
e-voting. Because those who talk about hacking of election result are missing it. Our law, the Constitution, see back physical, manual collation of results, which is the substantive, which is the primary way of getting results announced. The e-voting, and the e-transmission, a lot of people are getting it wrong. It's not your substantive. It's not your primary way of getting results. It's just a backup. It's just for citizens' engagement and citizen accountability. And I think a lot of people are not very informed about the process, and that's why they were fighting it. Because to the large extent, and as a lawyer, there are 4 legs into the version of the House of Reps, which talk about 1, real-time, simultaneous, electronic voting, and also confirmation that as it's happened, it has to be in the physical form and in the transmission form. Those are 4 legs in which the review of that section is talking about. In all of this, there's nothing that affects how, even if you hack into the IRFV portal, it doesn't change the physical, which is a primary way of collation results.
And that is what we've been trying to explain to Nigerians, because it's very easy to get our people, just worked up and very emotional. You got to understand something. The reason why someone like Peter Obi is doing this is because they don't have a real party structure. And what do I mean? If you have a polling unit, you're meant to have your party agent in every polling unit. Once you have your party agent in every polling unit, it is impossible to rig. Because what happens there, that form EC8A, what happens there is this. The presiding officer signs and all the party agents sign. And so if you declare something at INEC's office that differs from that, then you can go to court, and that's what happened in court. You tender it. Now, what happens is that in the 2023 election, Labour Party did not have party agents in all the polling units. So because they didn't have party agents in all the polling units, in the polling units where they lost and they didn't have party agents, they used their imagination and said, oh, we must have been cheated. So the issue with them is this. ADC, Labour Party, it doesn't matter. Get your party agents in each of the polling units. In Nigeria, we cannot do real-time transmission of election results.
A lot of people will disagree with you on that.
Okay.
But do you know the suspicion?
Yeah,
the
what's
suspicion is that the ruling APC wants to rig election. And the agitation and the opposition and civil society.
But listen to this.
But do you
No, let me respond to that. No, hang on. Let me respond to that. That doesn't make sense, because if you have, let's say it's even possible, and there's 100% coverage in Nigeria, and you have real-time transmission of election results. Are you aware that it is the printed EC8A form with the result and everything that is actually the primary documentary evidence? So if that form differs with what has been transmitted, it is that form that is actually taken in court. You understand what I just said? I've broken it down. So you have this paper form that the presiding officer signs, and then all the party agents sign. That is the real result. If that result is different, if it differs from what has been transmitted electronically, what has been transmitted electronically is null and void to the extent of its inconsistency with that document. Yeah. So how can people rig?
Do you send money to, do you have anybody in the village, in the remote area where you send money to?
Well, I'll put it this way.
No, do you?
No, I'm going to answer.
Do you have money?
Allow me answer your question.
No, but go ahead.
Yes, you ask.
Because I see that you want to digress from that.
No, I'm not going to digress. I'm going to answer the question. Okay. I have tried to send money with using Peter Obi's bank, and the money has failed to get there, and that money has failed to get reversed, and then the person who did that transaction is here. I can ask him to come here. He made a complaint. And we are still waiting for that money to come back. This bank prides itself, I'm not going to mention the bank, prides itself as having the best internet facility in Africa. And yet they're having this issue. Now, this bank is not going to be with everybody, but a significant portion, and it's not just this bank, a lot of banks. So yes, banks do have the capacity for real-time money transfer, but it is not 100% safe.
Why are you so fixated about Peter Obi?
No,
it looks like Peter Obi makes you uncomfortable.
How can Peter Obi?
Are you worried about the possibility of Victor Obi coming back to the verve of political prominence?
A man who was caught on camera saying that he's declaring a religious war on Muslims. Anybody that believes that such a man can win an election in Nigeria is obviously delusional.
Are you worried, Mr. Omokri, that in the opposition who believes that what is going on is that your party that you support